I decided to start with the back first. Oh, and there's hair. We don't want that. Cat hair is what it is. I don't know how crafters and cats get along, because cat hair gets everywhere. Or it could be that this brush that I'm using is just leaking. I have to also be very careful not to cover up that hole that I made. You can barely see it, it's right there. But I want to get as much as, I mean, the point is to make this stiff. If I had those self-laminating sheets, I mean the adhesive laminating sheets, which the instructions say that you can get at Office Depot, but I'm like, use what you've already got as best you can. Sometimes that doesn't work, especially for beading projects. When they call for a specific size bead, that's really the size bead that you should use, because it's not going to come out looking right. Oh, I think I just... Yep, this brush is definitely shedding. I think I just covered the hole. Dang it. Oh, yep, this brush is shedding. Well, here's a tip. This is going to be an instructional video on how not to do the right thing, as opposed to doing the right thing. Maybe I should have moistened the brush, but I know that that will water down the Mod Podge, and I really want this to be stiff. What I was saying before is there is something to be said for using what you have, and this is what I have, and I didn't feel like going to Office Depot and getting these, because I can't imagine, unless I'm going to make a dozen of these, and I'm not, what else I would use the laminating sheets for. I don't have anything else to laminate. Okay, that is one coat, and I'm trying to get the edges as best I can, but I don't want it, Mod Podge is a glue. I'm using it as a sealer, but it's also actually an adhesive, and I don't want it to adhere to my little folder that I've taped to my desk. You know, I'll never get the thing out. And that's one. Not yet, it's already sticking. Now this one's going to be tricky. I don't know if you can see. It's very pale. This is white, and my folder is manila, so I definitely don't want to mess up the openings. And I also see, when I lined it up, it's very important that the little X's line up in a certain way, the center little holes line up in a certain way to get the best, to get the most, you know, the proper squares of color in the proper windows. And I'm also probably, before I Mod Podge the front, I'm gonna, there are these arrows. Should have done that before. There's these arrows, and I'm just going to take a marker and darken them. So, well, not arrows, just one arrow, and darken it so that I can, you know, really see what it's pointing to. Yeah, this isn't a very old brush, apparently, because the little hairs are just coming off. Oh my goodness, and I thought it was cat hair. Sorry, kitties, I didn't mean to blame you for something that you didn't do. Although, in reality, it might as well have been cat hair. It's just as well. And also, I'm not going to drag this out anymore. The end of this video is just going to be a picture of the finished product and how it looks. Product. It's not a product, it's a craft. Okay, thank you. Here is the finished color wheel. It's very flexible. I used 3 coats of Mod Podge. The third coat, front and back, was very thin, so perhaps that's why it didn't stiffen up as much as I thought. I have no doubt that if you use, if you do follow the given instructions and use the self-adhesive laminating sheets, it will probably be much thicker. But for me, this is fine because I'm just going to throw it in my bag, and it should be flexible because I don't want it, you know, to tear or warp. Now, if you can tell, there we go. It gives you point to your main color, and you get a set of 3 harmonious colors, 2 contrasting colors, and your matching gemstones for the color. And I realize now it's not just matching gemstones. You can use the gemstone window to pick out Swarovski crystals that may go with beads that you've chosen. Because Swarovski has crystals that are supposed to mimic, you know, the color of emerald, the color of ruby and stuff. So that's where it will come in handy as well. Now, I was worried, after I put the first coat on and I was letting it dry, I realized, oh, this was printed on an inkjet printer. Will the Mod Podge and, you know, the moistness fade the colors? And as it turns out, only one spot faded, and that was right here. As you can see, this is not a glare on the camera. This little streak faded. Up here, originally the color is a, it's sort of an aubergine purple, deep eggplant, and it kind of faded to a weird looking brown. But that was the only spot. So I'm pretty satisfied with this project, and I know if you do it, you probably will be satisfied too, and you will have another tool in your beading arsenal, or, you know, not just for beading, for anything. If you're decorating, if you're, you know, looking to, you know, revamp your wardrobe, you know, you've got a lot of things, and you always wear the same stuff, you know, the same tops with the same bottoms. Sometimes, you know, spin your Colorwheel and find out, you know, maybe something else goes with that. You know, something you wouldn't have thought to try on, or, you know, a color you wouldn't have thought to put together with your clothes. So, have fun out there crafting and beading. Bye-bye.